Hey everybody, it's Kaylee. I am back with another What Sold from last week video. I am behind on the What Sold videos. We did not do one last week, but just to catch you guys up, my sales were about 4,900, like right under 5K, which is pretty low for us. So last week was kind of a bust, not a bust, still great sales. I expect to have like ups and downs. But this week that I'm reporting on, that I'm going to show you here in this video, was a much better week, and we reached just over 6,000, which is our goal moving forward, between 6 and 7,000. Obviously much more than that, we'd be happy to, but let's dive into those sales. All right, so all of these numbers that you guys see here happen between January 22nd through January 28th. That is a Sunday through a Saturday. And in total, we sold 292 items for a gross sales total of $6,043.99. So just barely made goal, but very happy because this is, like I said, a little higher than last week. Average sale price is starting to go up overall. Average sale price was $20.70, and my estimated cost of goods based on an average buy cost was $1,168. Estimated net, which is gross less fees, shipping costs, and any shipping discounts that I provided on Poshmark, was $3,243.52. On eBay, I sold 84 items. On Poshmark, I did some more clearancing of 208 items, so huge difference there. But gross sales on eBay with just those 84 items were still much larger than Poshmark, and obviously having some more full price sales over on eBay. So gross sales on eBay were a little over $3,100 with an average sale price of just over $37. And then on Poshmark, they were just over $2,900 with an average sale price of $14. So big difference. We talk about this every week, but starting to see this number go up as far as average sale price as we start to move all of those older items out. And like I say every week, we are really close to doing so, but there's still some scragglers in there. So let's dive into some of these individual sales. We will start with eBay. This is a Zara women's wool blend cardigan. I don't pick up a lot of Zara, but it's definitely got to be a more substantial piece in order for me to pick it up. I like selling their like midi to maxi length dresses and also their outerwear. This is Zara Woman, which is also a higher line in Zara, size medium, new with tags. You can see it retailed for about $200. That really did help to up the value as well. It's definitely a more higher quality piece than other ones. I paid $4.89. We listed it for $64.89. It took, 2 to 3 months to sell, but it did sell for our full asking price. So happy that we did pick that up. If you're someone who passes on Zara, you might consider picking up some of their outerwear or more substantial pieces like this one. Next up is a brand you're going to see a lot of during this video. I made sure to pull quite a few of these sales. I definitely did not pull all of them, but quite a few of them, because I think that this brand's fairly easy to come across and they have some really high quality pieces. It is Talbot's, and it's typically a bread and butter brand for me, but I am starting to notice certain things that go for really, really good money. So for instance, this is a size 16 women's red wool alpaca coat. Really great quality materials, obviously a more substantial piece. We actually got this at the bin, so it probably cost about $3. We listed it for $49.89. It also took 2 to 3 months to sell, but it did sell for our full asking price. So definitely don't want to sleep on Talbot's, especially in larger sizes and more substantial pieces, but this is definitely a brand worth looking into, and I'm going to show you quite a few pieces today that sold for good money and really quickly. This is another kind of like almost outerwear piece. This is a cardigan coat. It is a wool blend and it's reversible, and it is by the brand Vince. Really blurry photo here. Vince is a brand that retails for quite a bit but doesn't always have the best resale value. However, when I see really nice materials in this brand, I will definitely do a comp on it. This one seemed to be performing pretty well. We got it for $4.99. It ended up selling on an offer of $50. This one I have been sitting on for several months. However, I think I originally priced it slightly too high. Had I priced it at about the $50 mark, which is what it ended up selling for, I think it would have sold much more quickly. Next up is a puffer vest. This is like regardless of brand, style, I'm searching almost every time I come across it. Puffer vests are performing really well for me. Fleece vests are performing really well. Pretty much any vest right now is doing really, really good. And it's a great piece for like transitioning out of winter into spring when you've got kind of those colder months, but you're starting to move into warmer weather. It's a great layering piece. So this is Peter Millar. It is a great men's brand to be on the lookout for, especially in something like this. And whenever you come across a vest that is quilted, that normally adds value. So you're going to want to include that keyword quilted in your search when you're doing comps. This one we picked up for $4.89. We listed it for $54.91 and it sold within about a week of getting it listed for our full asking price. I'm going to try to go kind of quickly because I do have a lot to show you. We sold a lot of great stuff last week. This is a vintage DKNY, Donna Karan, New York, vintage label if you want to memorize this. Not saying everything vintage in this brand is good, but this was a very unique piece. I could not find much about this, but what I could find were selling for really good money, and I thought it was super unique, so we took a chance on it. So it's a vintage wool bodysuit. I was able to gather that this was from the 90s. It was really gorgeous too, just a really unique piece and in really phenomenal condition. So I kind of had to make up a price with this. I paid $4.89 at a Goodwill. We listed it for $64.91. It only took about a week to sell and it sold for a full asking price. So maybe I did price it too low, but again, I'm just kind of making up prices here. But I think I priced it pretty fairly. Next up is one of my all-time favorite brands to find and to sell. It is Sundance. If you find anything in a size large and up in this brand, it significantly increases the sell-through rate. So I still pick up the smaller sizes, but obviously I love finding size large. We actually found 2 identical dresses in this. You can see we have one more. And the first one already sold. We paid $7.99 for each of them, listed them for $49.91. The first one sold within about a week, and we're still holding on to that last one. Really pretty dress. Sundance is known for kind of like embroidered stuff, so this one definitely fell under that category. This is a cardigan. I mentioned this, I think, in a thrift haul or maybe a thrift with me. I just know that I mentioned it. It is Barefoot Dreams. This is a great brand to be on the lookout for in robes and sweaters, cardigans, and I think I even sold a scarf here recently. It has a very soft material. There's no other way to say it until you actually feel it, but it has a certain feel to it where you're going to know it's Barefoot Dreams. This one actually felt slightly shrunk, and a lot of people said in the video where I showed this that it was probably fine, but to me it seemed like it fit slightly smaller than what the tag size said, which was a size large, extra large. So we made sure to note that in the description down below, and somebody picked it up for an offer to watcher of 10% off. We originally paid $4.89 and they paid $44.88 for this. This one took about a month and a half to sell. This was probably my proudest find of last week. I found this at the bins and took a chance on it. I always just feel really good when I trust my gut and then see those items sell. It's telling me that I'm, really refining my sourcing skills. So this is a vintage UFO skirt. And I found that some pieces in this vintage brand were doing really well, but not all of them. However, I took a chance on this one because it was very like grungy, kind of almost baggy. And I knew that was a popular style right now. So I took a chance on it being at the bins. I probably paid about $2 for it. We listed it for $49.87 and it sold for full asking price within a month of selling. So definitely a brand in the vintage world that I would be on the lookout for. This is a great brand to look for in the men's department, especially in more substantial pieces. This is Wallace and Barnes, and this is a men's size extra large kind of shacket. It's like a heavy duty button-up shirt, could be worn as a shirt or a jacket, and it was wool blend, so that really helped to increase the value. We picked this up for $3.50, listed it for $59.87, and it sold for our full asking price within about a month of getting it listed. Here's a super high sell-through rate brand that I don't come across very often, but when I do, I pick up pretty much everything in it. It is Icy by Connie K. This just happened to be a size extra large, which also helped to increase value. It is a longer length draped cardigan, but like I said, I pick up almost anything in this brand. It's kind of like an artsy, art to wear, somewhat login looky brand. I picked this up for $4.89. We listed it for $49.89. It took a couple of months to sell, but it did sell for our full asking price, so I'm happy with that. This is one of my all-time favorite brands to pick up. I show this quite often, but I want to make sure that people know it. And one of the things that I find really important with this brand, which is cool, Kuhl for anyone listening, is that you figure out the style name sometimes, because that can make a big difference on how much your item should be listed for. So we found out that these were called the Renegade pants, which had a really great sell-through rate, and they're going for about $50. So we paid $4.89 for these, listed them for $49.88. They sold on an offer to Watcher for 10% off, $44.89. And they took about a couple of months to sell, but really awesome brand to pick up in general. But if you want to squeeze the most money out of these, you definitely want to figure out the style name of each item. This is a great shoe wear brand to pick up. It is Merrell. These just happen to have Vibram soles as well. And the great thing about Merrells are, let's see if I have a photo. The great thing about Merrells are they almost always have the information that you need here on the tag. You can see it's kind of a messy tag here, but the style name and colorway are usually up top. And they're also really easy to Google lens. Pretty much every time you Google lens it, it'll pull up the exact style name. These were called the Chameleon 4 shoes. These are a pair of men's waterproof like hiking shoes, which is what the brand is known for. And also with this brand, sometimes important to figure out style names. So that's why I wanted to show you guys this one. We paid $8.99 for this. It had a really good sell-through rate. It only sold for about $35, which was our full asking price. So 9 into 35, not a huge return on investment, but whenever I know that it's going to be a super quick flip, I'm totally okay with paying up for a little profit. Next up is a category we've been into a lot lately, Squishmallows, and pretty much only Squishmallows. We're not going and selling other kinds of plush, but we're starting to become more familiar with these. Squishmallows are super popular. I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong. You guys can correct me in the comments. But these are also super easy to Google lens. This one was called Ronnie the Cow. It did have a small spot on the back, which we made sure to note. We picked this up for $4.89, listed it for about $45. It ended up selling within just a couple of weeks of getting it listed for an offer to Watcher of $40.42, which was about 10% off. These are a great menswear brand to pick up. It is Ariat, but if you get this fire resistant or FR M4 boot line, even greater sell-through rate. We actually picked up multiples of these. You can see we've actually sold 2 of the exact same ones now. So I picked up both of those when I came across them. They both were new with tags as well. But this line does really well in this brand, especially in the men's department. I think it might only be the men's department, so definitely keep your eye out for them. We paid $4.99 for each of them, and we listed them for $45, and they did sell for our full asking price. Next up is a surprising sale for me that I wanted to show you guys because it really does, I'm starting to learn that brands don't necessarily matter, that factor stacking plays a way larger role than what I realize as far as sell-through rates and sell price. So this is a brand I almost never pick up, is Isaac Mizrahi. This is also Isaac Mizrahi Live, which I believe is a diffusion line. But this was a plus size cashmere cardigan, longer length. And so for those reasons, I decided to do a comp at the thrift store and was blown away by the comps because sell-through rate was really good and they were selling for a lot. So definitely not discount something just because of the brand if you've got enough factors to stack on top of each other. So we paid $6.99 for this. We listed it for $49.91. This sold, I'm pretty sure, within days of getting it listed, but definitely within a week. But I would keep your eye out for that because who would have thought that pre-owned Isaac Mizrahi would sell for $50 and so quickly at that? Not me, but definitely keep your eye out for that. It was a really great sale, and it's, to me, kind of eye-opening for stuff to look for in the future. Next up is a great pair of comfort shoes to look for. Dansko, sorry about the hair in there. It was really hard to get out. Here's Dansko. These are our comfort clog shoe. These were called the XP clogs. They had kind of a unique artsy print to them. We picked these up for $6.99. We listed them for $39.89, so about $40. They sold for our full asking price and took a couple of months to sell. Here's some more Talbots. This is a pair of women's size 20W, again with the larger size jeans. These were called the Everyday Relaxed Jean. Now, not every style in jeans does well in Talbots, but this particular one in plus size was doing really good. We paid $6.99 for it. We listed it for $39.88, and it sold within a couple of months of getting it listed for full asking price. $40 for Talbots, guys. Pretty good. Pretty good for a brand you're coming across pretty often. Here's another brand I come across pretty often. It's Banana Republic. I definitely do not pick up everything in this brand, but the midi to maxi length dresses I am starting to take a closer look at. This one actually had a spot, but the style of it was just really gorgeous. It was a satin finish, kind of tiered, really like feminine, ethereal looking dress, and I just knew it would sell even with that spot. I felt so confident in this that I actually paid $8.99 for it. We listed it for about $40, but it ended up selling on an offer to Watcher for 10% off, which was $35.89, and it sold within a couple of months of getting it listed. So again, don't discount something just because of the brand. I mean, the stuff can sell for $40. That's crazy. Make sure that you know what factors really aid in a sale. This is another kind of factor stacking thing. This is Nicole Miller. We got these at the bins just because they were camo print, and they were even a smaller size in a size 4, but they still sold relatively quickly within about a month of getting them listed. At the bins, probably paid $2. We listed them for about $40. They ended up selling on an offer to Watcher for $35.88. So great sale there. And camo is definitely a factor that's going to add value, so you'll want to include that in your searches. Here's another Talbots item. We just got this one listed as well. This sold within a couple of weeks of listing. This is just a Talbots shirt dress, but it is a larger size in a 16W. Really nice colors too, purple and white. Dresses in this brand seem to perform really, really, really well, and I sometimes can get like $40 to $50 for them pre-owned depending on what they are. This particular one we listed at $34.91, and it sold for our full asking price, again within just a couple of weeks, and we originally picked this up for $7.99. Here is another Talbots piece. We're moving on to some Poshmark sales now. So Talbots sells great on both eBay and Poshmark, which I'm super happy with. This is a Talbots skirt. The one thing I think did help to get this to sell so quickly is the fact that it was corduroy. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden corduroy became popular again. So I'm keeping my eye out for corduroy things. Also a size 12. This one we paid $4.89 for. It sold for $33 on Posh. Here's again one of those vests. This is REI Co-op. These ones do not sell for as much as some of the other brands, but still a really great sell-through rate, so I picked it up. We paid $4.89 for this, and it sold for $29 on Posh. Here's a great brand to be on the lookout for in the spring. In the dresses section, it is Bowden. This one is a size 10. It's just a sleeveless dress. I do find, once again, as we mentioned in other brands, finding the style name of these can be really helpful in determining whether you want to pick them up or not. This one was called the Pont Roma 60s jersey dress, and we paid $4.89 for this. It sold for $27 on Posh. Here is a brand I skip on, but I do find a lot of. It's Vera Bradley, but I will make exceptions for their larger size bags. This one was a Weekender duffel bag. I paid $5.99 for this. I think we originally listed it for about $45 to $50, and I just accepted an offer of $36 over on Poshmark. Here is another one of those brands that retails for a lot but doesn't always have the best resale value or sell-through rate. It is Vince. I only looked at this one because it was a midi dress and it was linen, and I did a comp on it. It seemed like they were doing pretty well. This one did have a little bit of discoloration along the edges. It was a white dress, so that's pretty common, but just along the edges. Paid $4.89 for this. We listed this, I think, for around, I want to say like $65. It sold within just a couple of weeks on Poshmark for $49, which is a great return on investment. I've been selling a lot of kids jackets lately. This is a brand I like to look for in the kids department. As far as outerwear goes, it is LL Bean. This is a kids, an LL Bean kids raincoat, and not much to say about it. It was fleece lined. We only paid $2.50 for it. That's one of the great things about picking up kids outerwear is it's usually priced pretty low compared to the adults, but still sometimes sells for even sometimes more than the adults. So I've been keeping my eye on the kids outerwear section. So like I said, I paid $2.50 and I think we had it listed for $35 and accepted an offer of $27 on Poshmark. Next up is Lululemon. I think we all know this brand. I'm actually slowing down on a lot of Lululemon items, but I am still looking for the boot cut and the flare items. This one was actually a larger size as well. And so yeah, boot cut and flare in pretty much any athletic wear brand is where it's at right now. You're going to see a quicker flip and a bigger return on your investment. So these ones sold for $45, and I'm pretty sure we only had them listed for a couple of weeks. We only paid $4.89 for these ones. Here's a brand I've mentioned in the past, but I don't think I've showed it recently. It is, I think it's Linktree. This is the brand down here. And this is called the Trailhead Adventure Pant. These are a men's, although I think they do sell women's as well. But this brand performs really well, has a really high sell-through rate, and is one of those like outdoorsy wear brands. Some of their stuff can actually resell for quite a bit. This one's more mid-tier. I paid $4.89 for these. I think we listed them around $40 on Posh and accepted an offer of $34. Here is another vest. Just wanted to show you guys all the vests that I've been selling. This is the Bauer. This one is a specific downfill. So if you ever see that on really any brand, it's a good indicator that you might want to look it up. So this is EB 650 downfilled vest. And this is also like a quilted look, which again, we mentioned before, quilted really helps to add value. Paid $5.99 for this, and it sold very quickly for an offer of $39. This sale actually went to one of you guys. I don't know if they want me to mention their name, but thank you so much for your purchase. I showed this in a thrift haul, and I actually had several, not just the buyer, but several people reach out to me about this. It's just Sioni, not a brand I typically get, but it was a size extra large, and I just really like the style and coloring of this item. And you guys must have too, because it sold very, very quickly to one of you. Thank you so much for your purchase, but just again, trusting my gut on certain items that I think have a lot of factors going for it, and it's working. Next is another Talbot's item. This is a size 2X. Anything plus size Talbots, I'm getting if it's in good condition. This one's a plus because it's pure merino wool. I picked these up all day long in the plus sizes. I paid $4.89. This one sold for $28. Here's another outdoorsy brand. It is Ibex, IBEX. You can see the kind of longhorn logo here. This one actually had a couple of holes that we realized once we got home, but still really, really amazing sell-through rate on it. So we decided to list it anyways. And even with the holes, it sold for $34 and it sold super quickly. We only paid $4.89 for this one. Next up is a pair of shoes. I come across these fairly often. They are the LL Bean boots, and I only pick these up in men's and women's if they are in like really excellent condition, which these ones were. And you can kind of tell based on the way they look and how heavy duty they are, whether they are vintage or not, which I believe that these ones were. And I can usually get around $45 to $65 depending on if they're men's or women's for these. If you look comps up, they're kind of all over the place. So that's why I try to stick to the ones that are in excellent condition and price mine up a little bit. We originally paid $8.99 for these. They sold for $45 very quickly on Posh. Here is a brand I've been experimenting with. It is Blowfish. Now, I did know that they had a pretty good following, but as far as resale value goes, I knew that they were only selling for like 20-ish. But I've learned that depending on the style of the bootie or the boot, you can actually demand a little bit more for them. So these are a pair of faux leather wedge booties, and these actually sold for $32. I was really surprised over on Posh. We paid $5.99 for these. Might be a brand worth keeping your eye out for. I do think it's more bread and butter, but I'm keeping my eye out for these newer looking styles. This was a surprising find because this is definitely not a brand that I get very often. It is Steve Madden. So Nikki's mom actually went thrifting with her, and I believe she found this. I might be wrong on who picked it up, but I'm pretty sure her mom found this and was really excited about it. It is a size 1X women's textured coat, and they found it new with tags. So again, Steve Madden's not a brand that I hardly ever get, but all of those factors stacked made for a really amazing sale, and it only took about a month to sell as well. We picked this up for $8.99. It sold for $58. So if you're skipping on like a brand as a whole, don't. If you see enough substantial factors, give it a good comp and determine then if you should pick it up or not. This is a great example of a Y2K item. Funny story about these. I came across these multiple times and kept leaving them at the thrift store because they had a really bad heel drag. You can see the heel is actually almost gone on the bottom here. And even the leather was pretty faded, but I actually thought that gave them a cool vibe. But they were super Y2K to me, and I knew somebody was going to love them. I just had a really good gut feeling about them. But because of all the wear, I kept leaving them behind. Several weeks later, they ended up at the bins, and I was like, it's time. It's time to get them. So I picked them up. I probably paid about $2 for them. They sold very quickly, and you can see they got a lot of love down here. People just love this Y2K style. Even with all that wear, they sold for $28. And I'm thinking I probably should have just picked them up when I originally saw them and trusted my gut, because I would have still made a really great profit. Next is something that I also trusted my gut on. It is called The Drop, and this was like, I think The Drop might be a website, and then this is like a line within it. I'm not really sure, but these are called The Drop, signed Blake, women's citronelle pull-on pants. The only reason I looked at these because they were new with tags and they were size 2X. I did comps on them. To be honest with you, the comps were not 100%, but I just had, again, a really good gut feeling about them. And I could back up my decisions with a lot of factor stacking. So I decided to pick them up for $4.89. To my surprise, they sold extremely quickly at $49. So I'm really happy that I did pick those up, but maybe something you want to be on the lookout for, especially in the plus size. These are a brand I've showed before, but I wanted to show you them again because if you come across them, you're definitely going to want to pick them up. It is Anatomy. Everything in this brand sells super quickly and for really good money. I think in the past we sold them for like $75, $85, and they always flip within like a week. So these are just a pair of women's pull-on mid-rise leggings, kind of like an outdoorsy wear, travel, like comfort wear brand is the vibe that I'm getting from these. We paid $4.89 for them, and they sold for $76. Crazy return on investment. If you're just coming across these in a thrift store though, they're pretty plain and you might not know what they are unless you're looking up that tag. Here's another brand kind of along those same lines. This is a men's brand called Bird Dogs. Very, very amazing brand to pick up. Here is their logo. This one actually had a spot on it, but we knew that they would still sell because the sell-through rate was super high, and they ended up selling for $55. They also sell shorts and some other things. And we originally picked these up for $4.89. funny story about these. We listed them and I figured they would flip within like a couple of days because that's how high the sell-through rate was, and they weren't moving. So then I went back to it and realized that everyone was listing these as one word like you see here, but we originally, when we listed them, had them as two separate words, bird dogs. Once I changed this to not having the space in between, they ended up selling really quickly. So if you come across this brand, make sure you list the brand correctly. Alright guys, so that's it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you're not already, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell. If you like these kind of videos, YouTube will notify you every time I post one. But that's it. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.